Let's be real, D&D combat blows. Action economy has always been a huge issue, and the gap between martials and spellcasters is always a subject of complaint. My friend recently pointed me to this video, in which he pointed out a few TTRPGs that try to make D&D a bit faster and more streamlined. DC-20 and Nimble are systems that are examples of this. As I was watching the video, I found it so fascinating that people are dancing around the solution to action economy and can't land on a solution that's right in front of their eyes. The solution to action economy is to abandon both the action and the economy.
And today, I'll be ranking my top 10 smoke spots in Dark Souls 1.
Yes, the revered Souls games. The solution has been in front of us the whole time. The solution is the FP meter and the stamina meter. It's something I call pools of power.
He just sliced up the minion, dude!
Let me direct your attention to this homemade masterpiece of a TTRPG, the Unofficial Hollow Knight RPG. A game that has mechanics that will change the landscape of TTRPG combat. Honestly, the RPG has a lot to be desired in the roleplay aspect, but is a great example of the future of combat in TTRPGs. In this system, you have a set number of stamina points. Attacking, throwing things, moving around, and the like will all cost a certain number of stamina points. Giving this system to all creatures and allies and players is the simplest and most effective solution to an action economy deficit. Want to make a character that can launch a bunch of attacks at a bunch of enemies? No problem, just spend all of your stamina attacking everyone on sight. Want to make a speedy boy? No problem, just invest all of your stats into movement speed and then spend all of your stamina rolling around at the speed of sound. Want to unleash a super ultimate move? No problem, just spend all of your stamina on one Pools of power provide options for the character to choose from. This applies to both player characters and NPCs. You can pretty much see every RPG leaning into this sort of point system. DC-20 and Nimble allow you to spend multiple actions to do different things. Here is a direct quote from Nimble. Heroes get 3 actions to attack, move around the battlefield, cast spells, etc. on their turn. Generally, doing any single thing in combat will cost 1 action. Some abilities are free. They do not cost any action to perform. Other very strong spells or special abilities may take more time and thus cost more actions. Even Critical Role's Daggerheart does something similar.
The GM then has the opportunity to spend any number of action tokens from the tracker and activate that many enemy combatants.
You can see more and more how people are dancing around the solution of adding a pool of power and are still somehow stumbling into it. Not only does it provide way more options to have a stamina pool, it opens up a whole nother layer of combat. Blocking, parrying, and dodging. In the Hollow Knight TTRPG, one of the many things you can spend your stamina on is blocking, parrying, and dodging. Gone are the days where the player just has to sit there and take a hit if the number is high enough. No longer do people have to just wait there for their turn. Defense is now an active component of the game. Instead of stupid D&D combat, where you just have to sit there and take it if the enemy rolls high enough, here you have a chance. A chance to dodge, a chance to block, a chance to do something. The simple fact that you, A, have to keep track of how much stamina you want to dedicate between offense and defense, and can B, play an active role in defending yourself even when it's not your turn, so you aren't just twiddling your thumbs when you get smacked. This allows the player to participate even when it isn't their turn. Not only that, it provides the opportunity for characters to hunker down, save all their stamina, and do nothing but block. You're not limited by 1 reaction or 2 reactions, and you aren't given some sort of band-aid fix like adding a couple more actions to each player's turn. Spellcasters are no longer limited by a weird arbitrary spell slot system where some high-level spells are worse than cantrips. Simply provide them with a pool of mana points and allow stronger spells to cost more points to cast. A hierarchy will naturally form that way, both flavor-wise and mechanically amongst those spells. No converting between spell slot levels, no wasting high-level spell slots on low-level spells, no more unclear spell ranking. Spells that are stronger will literally just cost more points, do more damage, or go further. It's as simple as that. No muss, no fuss. Systems like Daggerheart will also provide way too much variability in whether or not a combat encounter goes well, and provides no consistency to both length or the quality of the encounter. Having consistent and clear pools of power and the ability to simply see that someone has more or less points makes it so much easier to distinguish clearly between threats and opportunities. The last amazing thing I would love to point out about this RPG is the way it handles damage. More specifically, how it uses armor and two mechanics called absorption and soak.
I don't know what that is.
Armor in this game functions as armor does in real life. Its goal is to reduce damage, not prevent it. Armor in this game has a stat called DR, or damage reduction. It functions exactly as you would think. It reduces damage by the value of the DR. If it reduces it to 0, hey, that's awesome. But this is a far more accurate representation of how armor should function in TTRPGs. Now, what is absorption and soaking?
And sort of the back and forth and the friction is a problem in the eyes of the Lord. So God said unto thee, just don't move.
The soak mechanic says that when a creature is hit, they can reduce the damage and soak it by making a roll with the appropriate stat. This is how you make Constitution. It's not some mindless stat that lets you roll higher when you drink a beer. Constitution should have a mechanical impact like this, i.e., the sturdier you are, the more damage you can soak. The key difference here is that it is an active trait rather than a passive buff. Absorption is the next step in that and is perfect for separating the normal people from the people who have superhuman abilities, or in the case of Hollow Knight RPG, super bug abilities. The wording on absorption is a little funky, but the gist of the ability is that it reduces incoming damage by a factor of whatever the absorption score is. So if a creature were to have an absorption score of 2 and had 12 damage incoming, it would be reduced and the creature would take 6 damage instead. If they had an absorption score of 3, it would be reduced from 12 damage to 4 damage. This is the perfect type of ability for separating martials and even spellcasters from the riffraff, while still maintaining the fact that they have HP comparable to normal people. Whether it's flavored as a martial artist with an aura of ki, or a spellcaster with a well-maintained magical protection spell, the absolute reduction of damage provides a clear gap in strength you can feel. It doesn't just say it's immune to non-magical attacks and call it a day. You can actually feel how hard it is to take down a strong opponent as you fight them, because they are actively rolling against you and absorbing your damage. Pools of power. It's the future of TTRPG combat. And don't just take my word for it. Try it for yourself. Go check out the Unofficial Hollow Knight TTRPG. It's a fantastic game. Thanks for watching!